Welcome back to episode 3 of Going Rogue. Today's episode, we are taking some inspirations from Japan's City League deck, and that is Diggersby. Diggersby is a Pokemon that is from Perfect Order, the newest set in the Pokemon trading card game. The way we play this deck is basically you use Diggerby's attack, Earthquake, that does 140 to the active and 30 to your bench Pokemon. Earthquake has been somewhat used before. Last format, there was a Pokemon that had the same ability, same attack that did 30 to the bench, but I think it did 220 to the active. It was the Metal Elephant, Koopalija EX. I'm probably butchering that, as it's a very hard name to pronounce. Similar strategy as well. This deck basically simplifies it as you build up the damage with the Earthquake. You use your Munkidori to bounce that damage from your bench Pokemon or your active. Usually, your Diggersby gets one shot from most things in the format, so it's usually the Munkidori or other bench Pokemon, and then you use that damage to help you KO stuff. The deck runs a Solrock and Lunatone engine. This engine allows you to have a pretty strong early game until you're able to get your Diggersby in the active and start swinging with Earthquake. Lunatone allows you to see a bunch of cards, and Solrock 70 damage for 1 energy is really good. The deck itself, I had a lot of fun with it. The deck list is on screen now. See, and during the deck list, you'll see that we play Unfair Stamp as our A-Spec, as well as our main supporters are Lillie, Crispin, and Boss's Order. I did say I took this deck from a City League. The City League only inclusion was, I think, 2 special red card, and I think I added 1 Bunnelby, the basic form of Diggersby, and 1 Night Stretcher to just have 2. 1 felt weird anyways, in just looking at the deck, so I just added those 2 changes. And at the end of the video, we also have a little bit more changes. I'll explain why the changes from the deck list I will make and how it improves your matchup spread. The big thing you'll notice in the deck is the baby Ursaluna. We play 2 copies of this. The reason is because the baby Ursaluna is mainly used for KOing big Mega Pokemon or big Stage 3 Pokemon. Baby Ursaluna does really well into any of the Mega Boxes or slot boxes going around. It also does pretty well into like Mega Frostlass as Mega Starmies that are, terrorizing the ladders, as I have experienced. As well as the Baby Ursaluna, it's just a really good like closing Pokemon or attacker. You also notice that Lillie's Clefairy is, in this deck as well. It's mainly there for the Dragapult, Raging Pole matchups as like a Crispin option just to, surprise them with the Lillies, and then you could KO them pretty easily. It works really well, actually. It's also just kind of a good closing Pokemon for the late game. If you can't set up a Diggersby or Solrock, you can always just swing in with the Lillie's Clefairy for the knockout. First game, we're going to be playing against a Mega Starmie EX. You will see on screen now. Basically, the way I determine as a Mega Starmie is he does happen to take a mulligan, and I see the Frostlass and Hilda. That's just what I think about in the process. This footage is sped up, I think 250%, as you might be able to see. If I don't speed it up, the game kind of gets dragged out a lot, especially between each other's turns. He opens really well with a Buddy and then a Poké Pad from Monkey, as well as he then was able to attach a Water Energy to his Staryu. From there, I'm able to respond with benching 2 Munkidoris and a Bumble, the pre-evolution of Diggersby, and get a Solrock and Lunatone going, plus like a Lunar Cycle. From Lunar Cycle, I get another Bumble and a Air Balloon, and I will be able to Crispin to my Monkey and my Solrock and actually take away, the first KO on this Staryu, which is really strong, for this deck. The Air Balloon is actually really useful as it gives you the mobility you need when something gets knocked out. You are a 1 prize mainly deck, so when something does get out, you need to promote something, and if you don't have the energy to play, the Air Balloon is the best option. Well, it's always the correct option. He's actually able to draw Hilda here and able to start his Mega Starmie EX. He does take the KO on my Solrock, and I will promote the Lunatone. And the top deck is Unfair Stamp, just a top deck we need, as it allows us to basically, reset our hand and also make our opponent only have 2 cards. I was able to draw the Diggersby off the Unfair Stamp and 2 Fighting Gong, which lets me Lunar Cycle 1 more time. And then I'll retreat Munkidori over the damage from my, bench Bumble. Then I'll actually set up another one just because I don't want it to be KO'd after Earthquaking is the thought process here. And then I'll Earthquake, and this is how the deck starts, and this is, how we're gonna win, basically. The next thing, too, of Diggersby, it is 150 HP, so it can't get one-shot by Mega Starmie. I do have damage in play, so if he gets the, energy he needs for his Munkidoris, he can, he can take me out instantly. Maybe a little bit of misplay, but, I thought that the two-hand, card from the Unfair Stamp makes it pretty unlikely that he has the energy he needs for the attack and the Munkidori. Well, not the attack, for the, the Munkidoris. He actually only gets the water energy, which is a relief, and puts it on his Snow Round. He does attack with his Mega Starmie, building up a lot of damage, which is good for us, as we can Luna Cycle with the Fighting Gong, and we also topped up a Crispin and another Air Balloon. The Crispin is really, really useful, as it'll let us build up another attacker going forward, as well as establish another Munkidori. I put the Air Balloon on the Munkidori, as it gives me, another retreat locker, and from here I had two options. Option one is to just build up more damage, or B is to KO the Mega Starmie. I choose to KO the Mega Starmie. This is not a misplay, but it is just an angle. And then I Earthquake again. I build up so much damage on my bench Pokemon. That's one thing you do have to, watch out here. And in my head, I'm thinking I have the Bloodmoon, I have the Lillies, I have 3 Energy Retrieval with 22 cards left in deck. So my plan here is basically to Bloodmoon, and then for the knockout on the Mega Starmie EX. He does eventually take a knockout on my one Munkidori plus, I'm thinking here if I can KO this Mega Starmie. I don't think I have the damage yet. So the bench of the monkey, and then I think I'm just going to swing in with another Diggersby in this turn, and then the following turn I can close out with the... So after, attacking one more time with the Diggersby, I am basically trying to establish my baby Bloodmoon for the KO on the Mega Starmie to grab the remaining 3 prizes. And that's exactly what we do. I'm able to Lillies after. I thought about Crispin, but I just want to make sure I have the energy. So I will, Lillies. I get the Energy Switch, Night Stretcher. There's so many options here to close out against this Mega Starmie. I load up a bunch of damage on the Mega Starmie just as a little bit of a BM. I just think it's kind of fun to see how much numbers you could hit with the baby Bloodmoon Ursaluna. And it's 790 damage. It will KO anything. So that's it for this game. The next game I'll be showing, this was just a general gameplay of the deck. I do have more clips that I will, put in throughout just to explain what's going on in the scenarios. The next clip is from an endgame of a Raging Bolt, Iono's Belly Bolt deck that my opponent was playing, and us. The late game, my biggest issue was I ran through my resources too much, and I drew so much energy in through my deck. I have 9 cards, 5 cards remaining at one point in time, and I just can't establish an attacker or have the, enough energy and stuff for my Bloodmoon Ursaluna to get KOs. So that was the big problem this game, even with the favorable, lightning decks, and he was able to KO me pretty quickly, with the Raging Bolts, with the Iono's Belly Bolt for a game on my Meowth. I had to play the Meowth to get a Crispin because it was so item locked, and eventually it made the bench space really awkward, and also made it so my opponent could easily take his last 2 prizes, KOing my Meowth. Pros and cons of this deck is one thing that I'll talk about now. The pros of the deck is it's a pretty strong, warm, prizing, attacking deck. The thing I will say is the bench space is kind of awkward at times if you have to play the Lillies or the Meowth, as it makes it so that your regular Diggersby, Lunatone, Solrock, 2 monkeys, that 5th and final bench spot, it varies, but a lot of the times you want another Diggersby ready to go. But if you can't get that going because we only play 2, it makes the deck really difficult to have another attacker just ready to go. You can always punch with Solrock. It doesn't feel the greatest, especially against big basic EX Pokemon, as well as even Stage 1, Stage 2 EX Pokemon and Megas. It helps the damage numbers for the baby Bloodmoon Ursaluna, but for the most part, I think you need 90 damage, 110 to knock out Dragapult, the Mega Absols. You only need 90, but for this matchup specifically, the Raging Bolt and the Iono's Belly Bolt, it had 240, 8 HP, but I couldn't build up the damage quick enough to actually win this game. So this is Going Rogue, episode 3 on Diggersby. The deck list is actually really, really cool and fun. Some improvements I have made to the deck list is I actually think you need a 3rd Diggersby, as if you prize one, and you play 2 recovery cards, it makes it very, very hard to actually play the game. And to get that third Diggersby in, I actually just cut an Energy Retrieval. I think you only need 2, because you do play double Night Stretcher. And if you need more, I also cut an Ultra Ball for Alana's aid, just as more recovery. I thought about covering it, for a Tarragon, just to get even more energy. But by doing that, it actually, makes it a little bit more awkward to like set up. The Lana is more neutral, and I think it's actually really strong. You could play a Sacred Ash. I tried it for a couple games, but the Sacred Ash just felt kind of, weird, clumsy sometimes. It also felt like, shuffling it back into the deck is not as strong as right into your hand. So I kind of like the Lana's aid for that, mobility aspect. Since this is episode 3, if I were to rank the Going Rogue deck so far, I actually think the Diggersby one is probably second place. I played like 10 games with it. I think I went 7-3 roughly. It's pretty strong. Overall, I think it's probably my second favorite one we've done. My first one being the Yaw Mega deck in episode 1. That deck just felt really strong and fluid. This deck kind of can feel clunky, and it's very punishing if you don't have the right Pokemon or like know what to bench or what to do in your next following turn, as you are a one prize deck for the most part, and you get knocked out almost every turn. So if you don't have a backup attacker or a way to, get the energy for your Bloodmoon Ursaluna, you kind of just fall off. That's it for episode 3 of Going Rogue. We're going to change the format of these videos going forward. I think most of the time going forward, it'll actually be live with a face cam. And with the face cam, we are going to, just show the gameplay, and I'll commentate with it and maybe speed it up, as, these videos can get long. And there's going to be a lot of cuts in betweens, as, in the Pokemon trading card game, we take a lot of time in between turns. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is That Man D. Have a good day.